The cost of IT in business can be staggering. From hardware and software expenses to services like internet and phone, you don't need to spend a fortune on IT to succeed. If your organization spends more than $500 monthly on any service, or you're considering signing a long-term contract, IT Enabled can help you manage your technology and minimize your costs. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation. IT Enabled, we're here to help.
Hi, I'm Tara Watson-Watkins, President and CEO of the Lufkin Angelina County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Connect podcast, connecting business to the community. I'm here today with my co-host, Blake Pollino with BP Media Group.
Welcome back to the show. Truly appreciate you tuning in again this week. Really special episodes. We've got a full panel this week. We have Becky Cota, Aubrey Prunty, and Rudy Flores here to talk about tons of stuff that's happening this month that you're really going to want to be a part of. We talk about the Art Walk. We talk about Lufkin Creative. We talk about the Heritage Festival. Really great things, really great events happening right here in Lufkin. So let's get into that now.
Well, this is an exciting podcast. It's not very often that we have three guests on the podcast, so we know that this is not going to be a short one. So if you're tuning in for a short one, skip on and come back. But we are thrilled to have y'all. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So why don't you all introduce yourself and talk about a little bit about your background, and then we'll talk about the Lufkin Art Walk and then the Heritage Festival. Yep. So we've got a lot of good content to cover today.
Yeah,
definitely. I guess I'll go first. I'm Rudy Flores, and I work currently with City of Lufkin as the Deputy Director for Parks and Rec, Recreation specifically. And for Lufkin Creative, I serve as the Chair for Special Events. And so my background is anything from the exciting stuff of dance, working with kids, owning a previous business, which was dance and fitness.
The best.
And it really was foundational for everything that we get to do. And so now that we're a part of this great new organization, Lufkin Creative, it just makes sense that it's art and it's heritage and it's events. And so it's exciting to kind of put it all into one melting pot and then be able to use all that skill set.
Awesome.
Love that.
Thanks, Rudy.
Well, I'm Aubrey Prunty. I am a full-time artist and creative catalyst. I founded and direct the Lufkin Limners, which is a large creative community that's developing here in Lufkin. I've worked with a lot of nonprofits in the area, and I'm very passionate about this creative movement that's happening. So Lufkin Creative is definitely a big part of that, and I'm just so excited to be part of it. And Becky and I have been working on the Art Walk, so I can't wait to talk about that more.
Nice.
And I'm Becky Cota. I'm a local real estate broker and owner with my husband. And prior to that, I was a teacher, and I know how important and valuable art is in the lives of children and adults alike. Mm-hmm. And so I'm an advocate for the arts in our community. I serve on the Museum of East Texas Board of Directors, as well as the president of the Museum Guild Board. And I currently serve on the Lufkin Creative Board as the Art Walk chair. So.
Nice. Well, welcome all of you. Thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
So let's talk about Art Walk. For those that are not familiar with an Art Walk, what can they expect when they show up?
Sure. Aubrey, I'm going to let you take it away because she speaks so eloquently about it.
Oh, sure. Well, this is fairly new for this area, apparently. Nacogdoches actually does really great art walks, and that's been something they've been working on for a while. So it's about time that we do something like that here. It's a great way to feature local talent and bring the community together, and we get to show off our really beautiful downtown. Cities all around the country do art walks where they bring in local artists and they pair them with merchants, and people can walk around and go into the shops and see the artwork and meet the artists. And it's just so special. It's such a good way to build up our community and show off the talent and the beautiful work that we have here. There are so many artists, and I don't know that everybody realized how many artists are in this area. Yeah. It's pretty outstanding.
Well, and how many different types of art.
Exactly. Yeah, we're going to have woodworkers, we have sculptors, we're going to have quilts this time, which is something we didn't get to feature last time. We have painters and photographers. There are so many different types of arts, and Lufkin Limners is a big part of that, and so is the Art Guild here. We have an art show coming up as well that we'll get to talk about a little bit later, but all of these different artists are coming together. And really, it's just amazing what happens when you unite artists. We can do so much more together. And when one is doing well and we're promoting each other and we're helping each other out, everybody does better. At our last art walk, more artists sold their work that had never sold before. Just having this specific event that is dedicated to the local artists is just, it makes a huge difference than if they were to try to sell on Etsy, or if they're, individually going out to a much broader fair or something like that. They might have a booth there. They might make some sales, but having something that is specific to artists really makes a big difference. And that's something a lot of people might not understand until they're there and they see it.
That's awesome.
I love that. People are coming because they're coming to see art, right?
Yes.
It's not like you're going to a state fair where you're there to eat funnel cakes and turkey legs. And then if someone has some art you're interested, you might be interested in that perhaps. But people are there for the art. So.
Right. That's exactly it.
The art walk also has done something that's been really great even for me as a local person who is a creative but hasn't found necessarily, I'm not great with the paintbrush, I'm not great with those types of art forms, but it kind of puts the little idea in your mind that if you work on something that you're trying to hone in, now you have a place, a date, and a location that you could display this. Because I think a lot of people are finding a home in the art walk where otherwise you have something that you created at home that you show your family and friends. And now you can work on something, a collection, and be able to showcase it at the art walk, especially now that there's going to be established dates of, okay, let me work on all these pieces and then be able to show it and possibly sell it at the art walk. And I think that's really impressive. And if it's inspired someone like me who has zero ability to be able to draw or paint, there's so many different forms of it that if we were to get into it, at least I know where I could go and present it, showcase it, and possibly sell it. So I think that's great.
I would piggyback off of that and say that there are some artists who might not have enough to have a full booth or table, and they can pair up with other artists and share that space. There's a few that make really cute illustrated stickers and keychains and little things that might not take up a whole booth, but that's their art. And so being able to share that and have a place to display it and sell is also really special. And that might not happen everywhere else, although we will get an opportunity to feature more at the Heritage Festival as well.
That's right.
So how do you select the artist and the venues for the art walk?
So we do kind of like an application process, but everybody's in until we run out of space.
Okay.
We have where you can go to lufkincreative.com and you can sign up as an artist, as a merchant, or as a community showcase member. And so we do ask our merchants to be open to partnering with an artist so the artist can come inside their shop and display their artwork and sell their artwork. And sometimes they collaborate and kind of pick a theme together for the shop and some of the stuff that the shop is selling as well as the artist. And then, or they could be on the sidewalk in front of the shop if weather permits. We had a great vision in January for lots of sidewalk, displays and stuff, but it rained on us. And, but it didn't
just rain.
Yeah.
It was the last time it rained this year, but it poured.
It did. But we were still amazingly successful with that. And talking about the different artists, I think a lot of times when we hear art, we think about painting and sculpture, but we don't think about also performing arts and visual arts. And so we're going to have groups, that are going to be performing throughout the art walk. And we're going to have groups that are culinary arts, just showcasing different food trucks and stuff and the stories behind how that happened. So we're really excited, but going back to your question, lufkincreative.com, and just if you want to participate, sign up. And we are encouraging community showcase partners. We like for the museums to come out and set up a table, but also any other groups that would like to get creative. We would love to have interactive booths that children can come and create at the booth. In January, the Drug Free All-Stars helped us out with some creative stuff, and it was super fun. So we do want to bring in a bit more of that and would love for some community partners, even if you're not associated with art, but you're passionate about what art does for people, contact me.
Nice.
So let's talk a little bit about the last time this happened. Some really cool things happened at this last one.
Yeah.
There was some really good feedback. I mean, a lot of people, like you said, sold art for the first time, but tell us a little bit about those stories and kind of how that unfolded.
Well, the artists were thrilled about how it worked out. A lot of them had never done this before. There hadn't been opportunities for them to do anything like this, at least not that they were aware of nearby. So this was a really great educational opportunity and a great way for them to just start out. But we had such a good turnout. For starting out, we had so many people coming to see all the artists. And so people got to, they've gotten followers now to their pages and their artist pages and their websites. We had performers, singers. We had Angelina Community Theater and the Disappearing Pants Productions out there doing some performances as well in the Bruce Love building. So actually Bruce Love opening up his building was a huge save for us with all the rain, because everyone who was meant to be outside got to come inside into that, nice dry space and display all their work. So that was exciting. It was really neat to see so many artists out there. Everybody had a really positive experience. I didn't hear one complaint, just a lot of gratitude and a lot of excitement. When are we going to do this again? And this just was so great. And all the things that they learned from it was just so cool. And honestly, I learned a lot from it too, even though I've been doing this kind of thing for years in other cities. This was probably one of the most successful ones I've ever seen. Nice. I did not expect it to be so well attended. And honestly, for all the artists to come in and do what they did so eagerly and so excited about it. So I feel like I've said excited a million times, but it's true. It's true. Yeah.
But I think Becky and Aubrey and the committee that puts on the art walk, they do such an exceptional job of helping people understand the business side of being an artist and what that looks like. And we talk about, we are becoming a city that is going to be events and culture rich in the future. And as we are with the fundamental events that we already have. And the big part that we see is that we approach artists and we approach businesses and they quite don't know how to display and how to do the business side. And that's the great part of Lufkin Creative as well, is kind of cultivating that space for entrepreneurship. And that's been exciting. You get one person and you teach them, all you need is a 6-foot white table, and if you want shade, you have that, but we'll help you and advise you along the way. It doesn't have to be a big spectacle. You just have to get started.
That's right.
And so that's the exciting part. Yeah, so that's really, really exciting too. So
so if artists sign up for this, and vendors, anybody who wants to participate in this artistic event, I have built some infographics, and I even have an Amazon wish list of things that might help you level up your booth.
Oh, nice.
And just educational tips that I can send out, because not everybody knows how to do this, and they might have done it before, but they might not know the best way to do it, or they might get some good ideas on how, because it is, when you're an artist, it's a very vulnerable thing to present your artwork in the first place, let alone try to figure out how to price that artwork and how to display that artwork. And the business side of it is just a beast for artists. So I absolutely want to encourage that. That's something I've had to learn, and I'm still learning. So if I can encourage other people, that's a huge deal. You can sell your artwork, and it is valuable, and people will appreciate it. And learning to value your own work, or know the value of your work. Yeah. It's hard. That's
got to be the hardest.
Yeah. Something that you created. It's somehow that can be one of those things that, I don't know, it only cost me this much, so I'll just, you can just have it, basically, because it was, but that's not the truth. That's not, people are willing to pay what it's worth, and you just need to know how to educate them on what that is by educating yourself.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So if you're an artist that's listening to this, it is scary to put yourself out there and to try to sell something that you've created, but reach out and try to be involved in this. It's not as scary as it may seem. People want to see your point of view. They want to see your art. So
100%.
Definitely. And we encourage people who don't even know that they're an artist. I think that's been the most beautiful part, is that there is so many people in our community who are doing things so naturally and so just from their heart. And whether it's being a part of a support for planning committees, and there is an artistic ability of how you treat people as well. And we encourage people to just get involved as much as they can. And if they want to pick up a skill set, lock arms with one of the artists and say, hey, if you're willing to mentor me, or if I admire what you do, and those types of things, those are really the birth of new artists in our community.
I love that. Yeah. I love that we get to see that.
Limners is kind of built to do that too, to bring artists together, all different generations and backgrounds, all different types of artists. This is not limited to visual arts. It's everything. So if you are looking for a mentor, you're looking for a way to plug in, we do all these workshops, and we do all these really cool things that you can learn a lot from, and learn a lot from each other.
I was going to say, and the cool thing about the Limners that I'm seeing is that it's all ages.
Yes.
So you've got young artists, you've got older artists, and everybody's learning from each other. So I think that's great.
It's primarily built for adults, but that doesn't mean that there aren't events that we have that are open to families as well, because I know that there are a ton of little artists out there too. And somebody has suggested doing little Limners, which I think would be so sweet, right?
I can tell you that Angelina would be your first little Limner.
Oh my gosh. Well, we just need volunteers who can
That's
help
cool.
with children's side of that, because that is a lot to handle, but it would be so cool.
I'm in, but only if it's L-I-L Limners.
Little Limners.
I'm only in if it's L-I-L Limners.
Okay.
That's cute.
I love that.
Well, Becky, we know that organizing an art walk comes with challenges. We also know that it's very successful. So how do you measure both of them?
After the art walk, we sent a survey out to all of the artists and merchants that participated in the event, just to grab that feedback and see what their experience was in different, topics. And so we've taken that. We got a lot of really good feedback, and we've taken that, and so we're using that in our next event. But like, going back to your previous question about what's happening at the art walk, and kind of the feedback that we've gotten, Lane Thompson was on our volunteer committee for that event. And I wish I had the quote that he said, but the people who were there experiencing the art walk, there was a feeling. I mean, there was just an absolute feeling downtown amongst everybody that was attending that was just joy, collaboration. I feel like I belong. Something happened that day that was just so amazing, and I think we can't leave that out, because like Aubrey said, we're empowering people to just blossom and showcase their talents in a way that is safe. And so it was awesome. It was really cool.
It's hard to understate that when people are showing what they're passionate about. And it's hard. It's a vulnerable thing. But I read this quote. So in our whole Lufkin Creative process, people think about this as the cultural designation, and it's so far past that now. This is an amazing organization that's putting this on. And I wish I would have found this quote when we were in the process of doing the Lufkin Creative, but I want to read this to you. It says, "Art is highly sensitive people reporting back to the rest of the world what reality is like for them."
Is that Pete Holmes?
It's Pete Holmes. I just heard this like a couple days ago, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Pete, that is amazing!"
Yes.
And I had to stop it and record it and write it down. And I think that's what makes this so special. Besides the different mediums and what everybody else is doing, seeing the way that people are perceiving something for art, whether it was people who are doing like the charcoal drawings and the interpretive art and all these different things, there is some realness to that, because people are showing what life is like for them through art. And I think that's a lot of what made it so successful for people. That's what I was just going to say. It was very, very, very real.
It's not just about the talent. It's also about the reflection of our culture and what is going on right here with our people and our family and our home. So being able to come to a space where you're highlighting all those beautiful things about what makes Lufkin. Why do we love this place? Why do we live here? What are we experiencing here? That's all in the art that you get to see. That's what makes it so, so special. And that's what makes it feel like home. This is a place where I belong, because I can show this and people appreciate this, and we all relate to it, It's so special.
And I think there's a deeper feeling and connection and experience that's happening that we may not even be aware of. When I was dancing at the dance center 6-8 hours a day. My wardrobe consisted of a backwards hat, a t-shirt, and joggers, right? And so you go throughout the community at 11 o'clock and you're trying to buy your supplements and that's what you're wearing. And people may look at you and say, well, why is he dressed that way, right? But and so because it correlates directly to my profession. And I think what's happening is that so many people look different. They are interpreting their beings and what they're doing every day differently. And we're putting a location on all of that so people get to see each other and connect and understand a little bit better. Oh, now that person is approachable to me, although they may not look, dress, talk, or whatever like me. Sure. Yeah. Now we have a common denominator. So it's building our community. Now you get to say hi to them in the grocery store line because you saw them at the art walk, and they may be a little eccentric or different, or like me wearing joggers like I used to all the time. But now you have a common denominator that you can say hi to them. That's right. And it's building that community. So I think that's the underlying exciting piece, and something that's not new to us, but it's just bringing it up to just so we can all see it, the visibility of it.
I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, where do people find this? If they're artists that want to be involved, if you're a merchant or a business that wants to be involved, where do people go? Where do they?
Right now, we've got that link on Lufkin Creative under events. But you can also find Lufkin Limners is on Instagram, and there are Friends of the Art Guild on Facebook. Friends of Lufkin Art Guild, that's what it is on Facebook. So if you are an artist and you'd like to be involved and you want to meet other artists and you want to learn more or see how you can present your work, those are excellent places to go. And I don't know, do you put links or anything?
We do. Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes.
Fantastic. So I can share those links with you.
And let's talk about dates of things that are happening. When is the art walk?
The art walk is October 20th from 4 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
And it's happening in downtown.
And that's a Friday night.
That's a Friday night.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a lot happening that week. I mean, there's like, I don't know, 10 different events that are happening that week. And it's going to be a fantastic week. Everything from our Farm Feast is happening on Thursday. I know the Stand on Your Shoulders,
Stand on
right?
Your Shoulders.
That Dr. Bonner is doing. We've got Heritage Festival that's happening on that Saturday. Right. Got the art walk on Friday. I mean, like,
Oktoberfest.
If you want something to do, that is the week to not plan anything else, because you can fill your basket with lots. And lots. You know, that is definitely a week of people saying why you love Lufkin is how many things are going on that week.
No excuses that week.
No, not at all.
I don't want to hear there's nothing to do in Lufkin.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Around those weeks. So
it's the Arts, Heritage, and Culture Week. So we'll be highlighting all the different amazing things that are going on. And hopefully the weather will be a little kinder to us this time.
I hope so.
I tell you what, I walked outside this morning and I was like, oh, thank you, God.
Oh, yes.
I'm not dying. I'm not, you know, I don't look like I got out of the shower.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's still 85, you know? 90.
We're recording this in late August. If you're listening to this later, I walked outside this morning and it was like 70 or something like that.
It was wonderful.
And it felt a little cool, and there were leaves all over the ground.
Yeah.
Not because fall's here, but because it was so hot my trees died.
That's exactly.
It did feel like a little bit of fall for that.
It was nice. But let's talk about other things that are happening that week, Rudy. You've got Heritage Festival that's going on, and you're in charge of Heritage Festival.
Yes,
tell us if you for people that have never been, what is Heritage Festival?
Yeah, you know, Heritage Festival has actually been around in Lufkin for quite some time, and so people may have experienced it in the past in different capacities. It used to be held in the convention center in downtown, and then it has moved over to First Street. And this year, what people can expect, we're a little bit more intimate. The spaces are going to be a little bit smaller, but in the sense of being able to really expose and highlight all the vendors and entertainers and artists that are going to be there. The main focus for a Heritage Festival is to really educate our community in the fact that as individuals, we have so much to be able to share with others.
Right.
We are challenging, the committee is challenging businesses and participants to answer the question, what is my heritage?
Yeah.
And so it's just a fun time to celebrate each other's heritage and culture, and be able to walk away with a better understanding of Lufkin truly is a large melting pot. I don't think it's until I was a little bit older that I realized, you mean not everyone is from Lufkin, Texas, right? In Lufkin, Texas. And we get so used to our community that we don't realize that there's people that have been transplanted here years ago, and they just mesh so well, but they have elaborate stories, and they come from different countries, and their families have had such a shift in their families of moving from different places and cities, and we want to highlight those things by celebrating them. And so if there's anybody that is questioning, okay, is Heritage Festival for me? The answer is yes. We have done a lot of conversations, had a lot of conversations with people as far as when you see Heritage Festival, what do you think? Do you think that you're a part of it? Do you think you should stay away because maybe you don't have the same heritage? And we want to make sure that people understand that as a committee chair, as members, we also want to learn about other people's heritage and culture. And the way that we define that so that it can help us keep on track is heritage is something that you're born with. It is something that is in your family. It's something in your bloodline, something that is so traceable back to decades and years. And the festival part is very much, the culture part is very much the part that you can take and you can invite someone in and they can be a part of your culture. It is the dishes, it is the music, it is those types of things that you can share with somebody else. So there's lots of components. They're all extremely exciting. But I would say the biggest difference from years before is just the intimacy that we're going to be able to experience.
We're highlighting.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We're highlighting Cotton Square, right? Because that might be our festival square in the future. So I think Heritage Festival being in that area is very intentional. So people are aware this is where we're going to party in the future. This is going to be the good place to come. So that's exciting too. I don't think that we've really taken advantage of that space before. And Oktoberfest is taking place right afterwards, right next door. So it'll be a natural flow right into the festivities over there.
For those who may not know, where is Cotton Square?
Oh, yeah.
So it's located on the corner of First Street and Lufkin Avenue. If people are familiar with the Lufkin Administration Building downtown, it is just diagonal from there. People usually reference it as the stagecoach or the train stage that is there. And then it has the large mural of Angelina that's on the one of the side buildings. So.
And the lock tree, if anybody.
That's
the
right.
lock
So
tree,
yes. A lot of people remember that.
That's exactly
so sweet.
right.
That's right. You know, some of my favorite memories of going to Heritage Festival back when I worked for the city, Annalie was little, and so she would go with me to some of those and have fun. But Miss Patel would always bring her beautiful costumes from India. And so from the time that she could walk every single year, she would get a new beautiful dress from India. And the other day I packed all of them up because I can't even like tie them on her. They were so tiny. And she said, Mama, please don't get rid of those. I said, no, baby. When you have little girls later in life, they will come back out and we'll tell stories of being at Heritage Festival and wearing those. And, you know, my favorite one, she had a milk belly because she loved milk. And her little milk belly would stick out over the two-piece little dress, you know, part. I have some of my favorite pictures of hers. And that beautiful Indian dress with her milk belly sticking out over it. But, you know, we have great memories of that. And really trying to, it's so important to bring kids to that so that they can see that it's okay that we're different and that we can celebrate each other's differences and learn from each other. So bring your children to the art walk, bring your kids to the Heritage Festival. Maybe not to Oktoberfest.
Leave them home for that.
Maybe get a babysitter for Oktoberfest and you come have fun. But it's just going to be a fantastic week. We're so excited to be a part of that. And Blake and I serve as well on the Cultural District Committee. And it's something that I think we're all so proud to see happening in our at our home and to our community. So.
I do have a quick PSA about the art walk. We did get feedback that some people didn't attend because they thought it was a walk, like a fundraiser walk. And it is not. And so we do have a new tagline that says, we want you to come see, experience, and explore the arts. And so
you can walk from store to store to store.
Just stroll and experience and explore the arts. But there will be no timed walking or fundraised walking or anything like that.
It's not a 5K.
That's what we're saying.
You'll get your steps in, but it's not required.
That's right. That's right.
There's more to see downtown. There have been some new shops and there's a new gallery. Dr. Fedone has a gallery down on 3rd and Burke now. And we're trying to do more to feature that beautiful Bernal Park amphitheater that we have over there. So So you'll be seeing a lot more at this October
That's great.
art walk.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
we wish all of you the best and hope that everything turns out just the way that you dream it to be. So
Thank you.
absolutely.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much for coming on the podcast. We appreciate it. Make sure you are putting these on your calendar and maybe nothing else on your calendar for that weekend.
Yes, that's
We appreciate you listening to the podcast again this week. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.